spoiler alert, just died in an auto shop accident. You know those. I'm sure most of your high schools have one of those. And October, just before the scene, she had been hiding in the teacher's lounge and overheard her math teacher, Mr. Santuzzi, suggest that this accident was self-inflicted, and saying that Mr. O'Shea's life was a failure, and that's why he ended his life in such a grisly fashion. And also, you need to know that the kids at school call October Zombie Tramp because she dresses like, I don't know, God. So here we go. Mr. Santuzzi popped another surprise quiz on our math class, which is exactly the sort of thing that Santuzzi does. I was exhausted from the night before, so naturally he would choose that day to hold a pop quiz. My hatred of him, if possible, was increasing and gaining strength exponentially. It's a math joke. Santuzzi handed out the quiz papers, walking up and down the aisles like a prison warden. He noticed the raccoon circles around my eyes and the expression on my face. "Tired, Miss Schwartz?" he asked. "Me? Why would a failure like me possibly be tired?" Zing, Mr. Santuzzi. Does that sting? In truth, I'm not entirely sure that was a snappy comeback, but in some way, I was getting back at him for those terrible rumors he was spreading about Mr. O'Shea. At the same time, I was calling myself a failure, so maybe it wasn't the sharpest insult. Mr. Santuzzi was also confused. He simply stroked his mustache and continued down the aisle. So I knew all the answers to the problems on the quiz, but I felt compelled to elaborate on the solutions, using answers such as 5x, sleaze bucket, QED, dirtbag. And even though these were technically the correct answers, I guess I should have known better not to pepper personal insults throughout the test, especially since the test required no words at all. But I was too angry with Santuzzi to care. I told Yumi and Stacy about my test answers during lunch. Stacy laughed and slapped the wooden tabletop repeatedly. "Santuzzi's gonna flip his wig." "No, he won't," Yumi said. "It's sewn onto his scalp. My cousin told me, but he'll never move." I smiled a little and continued to eat the day's cafeteria selection, their rendition of beefaroni, I guess. Not a total winner. "What did he say that made you so mad?" Yumi said. "I mean, apart from the usual." I explained my adventure in the teacher's lounge and how I'd overheard Mr. Santuzzi spreading rumors about Mr. O'Shea. He said that the police had determined Mr. O'Shea lowered the hydraulic car lift on himself when he died in the auto shop, either by accident or on purpose. The room was locked, so he must have locked himself in there while my dad was teaching volleyball. And he took a wrench to the switch or something crazy like that. He said Mr. O'Shea was dangerously depressed. Mr. Santuzzi said that, not the police. I don't think. You think he was depressed? Said Stacy. Mr. O'Shea was like the only good teacher at the school, Stacy, and he coached curling, which is like illegal if you're clinically depressed. Too risky, he said definitively. He just wasn't. Maybe he had like a totally different identity outside of school, like a clumsy, heartbroken, failed saxophonist, theorized Stacy. You never know. But he couldn't have dropped a lip on himself, Yumi interrupted. He was Captain Cautious. He drooped like a little old lady. "I know," I almost shouted, haphazardly flinging some of the beefaroni across the table. Other kids were beginning to notice our heated, death-centric debate, so I lowered my volume. "I know. And he left like over 2 weeks of French exercises. Prepared much?" The guy was not sloppy. "And who plays saxophone anymore, Stacy?" "Weird," said Stacy, who was attempting to finish his science homework while still somewhat participating in the conversation. "Well, like you said, maybe he did it on purpose. He did leave weeks of lessons. He did lock himself in the shop." "You don't know Mr. O'Shea," I said. "In a wise move for the safety of his face," I thought. Stacy stopped pushing the issue. I was certain that Mr. O'Shea simply didn't take his own life. All three of us sat there quietly at the cafeteria table. Stacy continued determining the rotation rate of various planets, while other wheels were turning in my head. He's probably right, Yumi said, referring to Stacy. "We really don't know that much about Mr. O'Shea outside of French class and curling. Speaking of which," he added, "there won't be any more curling team this year." "That's okay, I figured as much." Well, it was fun enough to sweep ice. I wouldn't exactly be losing sleep over a year without curling. I still think there's something weird about that auto shop accident, I decided. "Well, we'll get a team of detectives on it right away, chuckled Yumi. If only that were possible. Although, upon further consideration, I did know 5 kids who couldn't be seen or heard, and who liked to sneak around at night. Yumi, I thought, you beautiful Asian zombie tramp. You don't know it, but you just invented the dead kid detective agency."